Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name is Beth if you are new here, and I like to talk about music. All I do all day on my channel is talk about my opinions, but today we're actually going to be looking at some of your unpopular music opinions. I went over to Instagram and did a story asking you guys to share your unpopular music opinions. I don't know how unpopular these are going to be. That will be left up to, I guess, the majority. There's going to be opinions in this video that are very polarizing. I've already read a couple of the ones in my YouTube comments and they were very, very, very polarizing. Like, you did not hold back, which is exactly what I asked for. I asked for you guys to make them spicy, and you did. I have my share of unpopular opinions, just like everyone else in the world, some of which I have shared on my channel and some of which I haven't, because it is genuinely frightening to share unpopular opinions when anyone and everyone could be watching your video and then commenting really mean things to you when you say anything they don't agree with. Also, I just wanted to say this idea was not mine. I got this idea from Reacts by Ash, who did a similar video a couple of months ago. Really love the concept. I feel like I've seen other creators do the same type of video, so I'm just doing what they're doing because I love this idea. I love this idea of like talking about the things that no one wants to talk about. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna be going to my Instagram. I've only seen a couple of the ones that have come into my Instagram, and there's quite a few, so I'm excited. Evermore is better than Folklore. Evermore is greater than Folklore. I honestly don't know if I can agree or disagree with this. I once heard someone say that Folklore is a better album, but Evermore has better songs on it. And I've kind of always gone back to that as my opinion on the matter. I think that Folklore is an insanely good album. I don't think Evermore is an amazingly good album, but I think the songs on it are all amazing. I think Folklore has such a cohesion to it. It has such a clear story and vibe and feeling throughout. I think Evermore doesn't have as much of that cohesion for me, and I think that's why I lean toward Folklore as being better as an album. But I do think that Evermore has more memorable songs and more standout songs than Folklore does. Folklore, I loved it from the minute I heard it. I had like a spiritual experience listening to it for the first time. Whereas Evermore, I actually did not like it right away. It took me a bit to adjust to that album. I think Evermore has more replay value, and Folklore is more of like an art piece that's like one of the best albums ever written, but I might not go listen to it as much as I listen to Evermore. People idolize dead artists because they're dead, not because of their music, generally. This is really interesting because I feel like in general, we tend to idolize people after their deaths. I know there's been like songs written about that concept, and we do tend to put famous people on a pedestal after they've passed and sort of like put this white halo on them as soon as they die and say, oh, they were perfect, they were this angel. And it's like, maybe they weren't. And I'm not saying we should be disrespectful toward the dead, but I just feel like it is kind of a societal issue that's at large. A&W deserves Song of the Year in the Grammys 2024 over every nomination in that category. Okay, I don't know what songs are nominated for Grammy for Song of the Year, but I will say that song is really good. And I definitely could see it winning a Grammy. I do think it deserves it. It's one of those songs that like, it's so long, but every single bit of it is really masterfully done and so beautifully done. I think it's a very artistic, thought out, well-crafted song. It's objectively the type of song that would be nominated for a Grammy. 2023 had some bops. Some people love to act like everything's trash now. You said it, not me. No, but in all reality, I really do agree with this. I think that some people have the continuous mentality that music is trash now. It was always better back then. I completely disagree. I think the music that has stood the test of time, that came out in the 70s or 80s or 90s, we all remember it as like being so good and being better than anything out right now. But when you think about it, there was a lot of music that was released back in the day, and not all of it is music that we still talk about now, and that's because some of it was trash. Some of the music that came out in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, thousands was trash, but no one talks about it, no one remembers it because it was trash. And nowadays, we forget that like there was that nuance. There were all those different songs and different albums that came out that not everyone remembers. There are bad albums that come out, there are good albums that come out. At the end of the day, art and music is subjective anyway, so what you might think is trash, someone else thinks is really good, and vice versa. So I think that's all something to consider when we think about like current music. Poppy is the most underrated artist. I tried to react to her album, the one that was Zig, I think it was called, and it was way too intense for me. I'm not saying she's not talented. I only heard like 5 seconds of the first song, but it was an immediate run for the hills. Midnights is such a good pop album. Yes, it's not up all in your face like 1989 or Rep, but that's the point, I guess. Yeah, this was one opinion. I also got a couple opinions that were like, Midnights is bad, Taylor Swift is trash. They're the type of opinions that I don't know how to respond to, because whether you like Taylor Swift or not, me saying something about it is not necessarily going to change your mind. I love Taylor Swift, but I understand that not everyone likes her. I understand that she's not for everyone. Love that artists experiment and change their sound after they have established their own sound. Okay, I would say I agree with this. I would say I appreciate when an artist makes efforts to make every album distinct from one another. I mean, I do love Taylor Swift, but she really has like changed up her sound. I will say, obviously, with taking risks, you're going to risk losing fans. But at the same time, I think all of the great artists that we know and love have taken immense risks in their career. You think about the popularity of Lady Gaga and how she did the Joanne album, and like, not everyone loved that album, and it was really risky and it was really different for her. But she's still so popular and well regarded to this day, and she's an artist that I have a ton of respect for stepping out and trying new things and taking risks. And that's not to say I like every single album that she's done, but it is to say that I appreciate distinct albums and distinct eras. Spotify is the death of music. I'm gonna need more information on this one because I think that's an interesting point. I just don't know why. I think they mean because people don't buy albums anymore. People just go and stream every song and album they could ever desire. There's absolutely no restrictions on it. When I was younger, I had to buy a song on iTunes for $1.29. So I really had to choose the songs that I really, really loved and add them to my library by paying for them, rather than just like choosing every single song I've ever heard to add to my Spotify library. The music industry is absolutely changing because of all the streaming. I feel like we all move on so quickly, like album to album. An album comes out now, I listen to it for a little bit and then I move on to the next thing. When I was growing up, I listened to albums for so long before changing. So I do think it's changed and it's kind of evolved in a way that I don't know that I entirely love, but I also don't think it's like the death of music. Marina has defined the music industry before Taylor Swift ever did, but she got no recognition for it. I definitely think that Marina does not get the flowers she deserves. I am not like the person that was around when she was at the height of her popularity. I wasn't paying attention, but I will say that from what I've heard, it seems like she is this big deal, but no one knows about her or no one like talks about her. So that is definitely something that I think needs to change because she has a message in her music. She always has a message. She always does something cool with the sound. Love her voice, very ethereal. So I definitely think she deserves more credit than she has gotten. A lot of people saying Poppy is great. Maybe I should give her another chance. Alana Springsteen had one of the best country albums last year. Yes. And I don't even like country music, but you need to go listen to 20 something. If you like country music that's a little bit poppy as well, you need to listen to that album. I have not like fallen in love with the entire album, but I have fallen in love with a handful of songs on it, and they were all up there in my songs of the year. If you're a Swiftie, you need to go listen to Taylor Did. Please, I'm begging you. Stick Season is rather boring. I don't understand the hype, just like Folklore is a snooze fest. I think you have to be in a specific mindset to receive those albums. I sometimes will put one of those albums on and be like, no, like I'm not interested. It is boring to me. And then other times it's exactly what my soul needs in that moment. And I'm not saying you have to like those albums. I'm just saying that maybe you weren't in the right mindset when you first heard them. Music is all about mindset for me. And so maybe give them another chance, but no pressure. If you don't like them, you don't like them. Portals and Chromatica are the best albums released this decade so far. I can't fully agree with that, but I can partially maybe agree. I think Portals might be one of my favorites released this decade. I feel like it's too soon to tell. I disagree about Chromatica. I know this is such a polarizing album. I feel like people either love it or they hate it. I'm not a fan of Chromatica. I've explained it time and time again. I respect it. I respect the era. I respect the hustle for that album. I really do. I respect everything she did. I went to the Chromatica ball. It was great. I love Taylor, but I wish she'd experiment more with her sound. She tends to play it too safe. No, because what? 1989 and Speak Now, Taylor's version sounded so bad and lifeless. However, Fearless and Red, Taylor's version sound better. No. Not 1989. I can't agree with 1989. Speak Now, I don't think it sounds lifeless. It's not my favorite album. It's never been like my number one favorite album, so I can't really speak to it. But Fearless and Red, Taylor's version, I will say, are underrated, specifically Fearless. Taylor Swift is good, but doesn't deserve all the spotlight. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Although Taylor is my favorite artist, she's certainly not like the only artist that I care about or the only artist that I would give credit to and give the spotlight to. I think there are definitely other artists that get overlooked because she's constantly in the spotlight. Oh, Fearless, Taylor's version. There's a lot of Taylor Swift ones. Fearless, Taylor's version is her best re-recorded song, and Untouchable is the underrated song. I fully agree that Fearless re-recording is absolutely insane and absolutely underrated. Untouchable, I like her. She's cute. She's not my favorite song. But I see what you're saying. Because I love Superstar, and people have always like not cared about that song. So I relate to you in like having a random favorite on the album that I think is so underrated. Fearless, Taylor's version is it is so underrated. I will say that forever. Jeez, a lot of people saying even though I love Taylor, she's overbearing this year. Okay, I think I appreciate seeing her so much because, you know, during the Reputation era, we didn't really hear from her for a while. During Folklore, I feel like she was kind of sneaking around. I appreciate seeing her. However, I totally understand what you're saying. Every time I open my, news app, there's some new story about her and Travis Kelce, and there's only so much I can care about a relationship in which I know neither of the individuals. I wish her all the happiness and all the love in the world, and I hope it works out and whatever, but I can't say that I need to see it on my feed every 5 seconds. Gracie Abrams' second album was Wasted Potential, albeit well written. This is what it feels like eats. I totally would have agreed with this after only listening to the second album a couple of times. However, since I have given it more of a chance and given it more time, I can't say I think that it was wasted potential. However, I will say that I think This Is What It Feels Like is a bit unmatched. People who think pop music is dead just don't listen to new pop music. Here's the thing with these like very black and white statements, like pop music is dead. I don't know how people can make such a blanket statement about something. What do you mean by pop music? What do you mean by dead? Who do you think should be still around making pop music that would aliven it again? I am a Harry Styles hater. I've tried his music so many times, but I could never get into it. Listen, that's totally fine. I have been a Harry Styles fan since his first album. However, I will say that I don't love his music right now as much as I once did. I feel like every time an album comes out, I really love it for a period of time, and then if I went back and listened to his entire discography today, I think it would be a slightly different story. For me, it's not super timeless. It's kind of like what's fun in the moment. Male singers are boring. I definitely listen and react and engage with more female artists than male artists. I know that's not a surprise to anyone. However, I don't like necessarily disagree. I'm trying to think of male artists that I feel like are really killing the industry in this day and age. I will say Noah Khan. I think he's absolutely crushing it this year. His album is incredibly beautiful and incredibly well written, and I also just think he has a great stage presence. He seems to have a cool personality, but I'm struggling to think of another male artist that has really made an impact on me recently. I feel like I listened to a lot more male singers a few years ago. I was a huge Ed Sheeran fan. I was a huge Niall Horan fan. I think I've just moved on. Kimbra is one of the biggest voices of our generation and is not recognized for it. I'm sorry, I don't know who that is, but I will trust you. I will take you at your word. Go listen to Kimbra. Lemonade is not that good. Here's the thing. I just need more information. Why don't you think it's that good? Is it the sonics? Is it the lyrics? Is that you don't think it's cohesive? Because, like, you're absolutely entitled to your opinion and not thinking it's a great album, but I'm just curious, like, what the reasoning is. Just because a song or album is popular doesn't mean it's instantly bad. Please say it again for the people in the back. I think we all just need to, like, develop our own tastes and be confident in those tastes and stand true to them despite what other people are listening to. I hate to say it as a Swiftie, but she's getting overhyped since the Midnights and the Eras tour. I mean, at the end of the day, any artist who is that famous is going to be overhyped. Taylor Swift, Adele, Beyonce, like anyone who is put on a pedestal and like worshipped by others, it's too much. So yes and no, sort of, just because I do think she's very talented. I do think she deserves the year that she's had with what she's released and how hard she works. I don't think people realize how hard she works. She has made so many albums that take time, that take energy, that take writing, producing, vocals, all of that stuff. And then on top of that, she's been training for it. Tour. I mean, literally doing like what a professional athlete probably would do in order to get in shape so she can run around the stage every night. And I get really frustrated, not at this person, but at people who state that it's so easy to do the tour and like anyone could do it. I saw someone on TikTok who was like, it's not that like special or crazy that she like does this tour, like anyone could do that. And like, okay, go on a tour. I would love to come see you. But I understand completely what you're saying. I definitely think it has been a little bit of a lot. Again, I don't need to see Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift every time I open my phone. Lana Del Rey's music puts me to sleep faster than a high school English teacher. I mean, her music is incredibly ethereal and like it's very slow and yeah, it would put you to sleep, but I don't think that means it's bad. Avril Lavigne's writing and music was more and extremely mature at her teenage years. So that's what albums came out when she was a teenager. Let Go and Under My Skin, maybe The Best Damn Thing. Yeah, I totally agree. There was something about her music back then with Let Go and Under My Skin that genuinely just feels a lot more timeless to me. It's not that I think her newer albums are like bad by any means. I actually really liked Love Sucks. But there's something really timeless and like nostalgic about those first couple albums. And even though I had never heard them before this year, I still feel like they're very nostalgic sounding. There's just something that I don't think could be recreated nowadays. Cupcake can rap better than Nicki and Cardi, although I love Minaj and Cardi. I have absolutely no opinion on this because I don't really listen to rap music. Sound off in the comments. Are they right? Are they wrong? I would love to know. I love Selena Gomez. Her personality is super cute, but I don't think she's a good singer. I find her incredible as an actress, but her voice or performance is never memorable. Listening to it live makes me cringe a little bit. I do want to say that the one performance you might be referring to where she was super off key, I do think she was having anxiety. I think it came out later that she was having like an anxious, maybe like a panic attack. I think that's important to keep in mind when talking about her live vocals. I don't think that she's an artist that really shines live. I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I've only seen performances of her where she's lip syncing or off key. And I think it is due to her anxiety. And I would never fault someone for that because I have anxiety myself and it's not fun and it can really get in the way of things that you want to do. But yeah, I agree. I don't think her music is super memorable for me. Like, I get what you're saying. I feel like I have mixed feelings on Selena Gomez. At the end of the day, I support her in what she wants to do, but I understand where you're coming from. Some people saying artists should release unreleased music. Yeah, I mean, they should. I think, why are they gatekeeping? Like, why are they gatekeeping the unreleased track? I love this comment. I want albums to be real works of art and full projects. No more just a couple songs that could be on fully different albums. I want them to sound coherent. One example, Renaissance by Beyonce with all of her transitions. Artists following a concept and making every song work together and sound good makes me so happy. Yes, I fully agree with this. I think that there should be more concept albums and less just slapping songs together and making an album that doesn't really feel like it has any purpose or any story or any meaning. And I'm not saying every album has to have some like crazy deep meaning, but I think there are so many albums out there that just lack any sort of like cohesion. A great example of this is Ava Max, Diamonds and Dance Floors. That is not a deep album. It's not like an album that has a ton of meaning in it from the lyrics alone, but it's incredible. It is such a good album that does have this like cohesion and this clear concept, and it just works so incredibly well. It sounds so good together. It sounds like an album. And I will say that I wish we had more albums like that today. Charlotte Cardin's album 99 Nights is the most underrated top albums of the year 2023. Top 5 albums. Okay. I've heard her name floating around a couple times, so I have not listened to her. Selena Gomez's discography is underrated and good. I don't know. I don't know that I can speak to this. I haven't really listened to her discography enough and like recently enough that I would be able to speak to it. But I will say that I think she has some good songs. I think Rare is a very good album that I still feel like is a little bit underrated. Gabby Hanna's music isn't the worst thing ever. I haven't really listened to a ton of her music. I mean, I've literally only heard Monster. I didn't like it, but I also didn't think it was like the worst song I'd ever heard in my life. I think when it comes to her, my problem is like her personality and kind of like being in it for the wrong reasons. And I don't know. Songs should be near the 4-minute mark. I'm tired of these 2-minute songs. I fully agree with this. I think that the perfect song length, it depends. I like 3 to 5 minute songs personally. Anything over 5 minutes and it has to be really good to keep my interest the whole time. Anything under 3 minutes and it feels like you're just teasing me. Give me the whole pie. Why are you only giving me a piece of the pie? I want the whole thing. Music videos, this is my favorite unpopular opinion of the entire video. Music videos these days are so lazy and weird, they don't make sense. Someone genuinely put into words my exact thoughts in a way that I haven't been able to express. I fully feel like so many music videos these days are weird and don't make sense. They don't have a clear story, or if they do, it just makes no sense. It feels like they were trying too hard to be artistic and the meaning got lost in translation. And some of them are just straight lazy. Like, you had so much money to go into something and you chose to like film yourself driving in a car for 3 minutes straight without any sort of story. Some of them have been really good, like Melanie Martinez. I've really loved all her music videos. I've really loved Taylor's music videos for Midnights. I genuinely have. However, those are outliers, and I would say I don't even watch music videos from other artists really, because they don't keep my attention. And it just ends up feeling like I wasted my time. I can't stand dubstep. It sounds like weird noises, mostly like frogs ribbiting. Maybe that just shows my age though, LOL. No, I don't think it shows your age. I think you're entitled to your opinion regardless of your age. I agree from like the dubstep that I've heard, like it sounds weird to me, but I probably don't have enough experience with it to really say. K-pop is overrated. Again, with calling things overrated, it's like, I don't know that I can really speak to that. And they also said Florence is famous, but I never see her talked about much. I see more people talk about Taylor, and Florence is 100 times better than Taylor. I don't know how to respond to that. I don't think artists are like better than the other. I genuinely think everyone just has different preferences and different opinions. And like, I don't think that Florence is better than Taylor, and I don't think that Taylor is better than Florence. I think they're each individuals who make music. I don't know. Mitski is the best singer-songwriter in history. Her story. And Lana Del Rey isn't that good. Why you gotta end it with that one? Mitski is an amazing singer-songwriter. That much I know. In history, I don't know. I mean, maybe if I looked more into her lyrics, I would be agreeing with you. It's not that I disagree. I just feel like that's a very bold statement for me personally. The Weeknd is so overrated and sounds like Kermit the Frog. I can't say I disagree. I don't like The Weeknd. I have never liked his music ever since I heard one of his songs when I was younger that was extremely, extremely sexualizing to a woman, and I did not like it. And ever since then, he's rubbed me the wrong way. I listened to Dawn FM a couple years ago when I was like first starting my channel, and I didn't get the hype. And like, so I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't like The Weeknd. This is a really interesting comment that I think is gonna stir up some conversation. Pop music is dead. They're all lazy performers, 2-minute songs for TikTok impact, lazy music videos they can't dance. Where is the Britney Spears and Lady Gaga of this generation? They don't even try. It's so disappointing. there's a lot to unpack here. Pop music is dead. Again, I don't necessarily agree that it's dead. 2-minute songs for TikTok impact. Yes, the whole like, I need this song to go viral, and making songs purely for the purpose of going viral is absolutely a problem in this day and age. They can't dance. I will agree with this as well. I don't think there's a lot of popular artists today that can truly dance. Where's the Britney Spears and Lady Gaga of this generation? I mean, there isn't one. There isn't an artist that has that kind of like shock value mixed with dancing. Like when you think about Lady Gaga, I know she performed at the VMAs and there was like blood coming out of her or something. I have not watched her VMA performances yet. When you think about Britney Spears, from what I've heard, I haven't seen a lot of her live performances really, but I know that she is an incredibly like dynamic performer. She's dancing, there's the stage, there's the production value and all of that. Even Taylor Swift, who I do think has the production value, she doesn't do a ton of dancing. Like she does dancing, but she doesn't dance like Britney Spears. And that's not to compare them or say that one is better than the other. I'm not trying to compare people right now. It's just to say I don't think there is someone who is doing exactly what they did in this day and age. Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber are just mediocre singers, even Ariana to some extent. They are nothing without a group of songwriters and producers. They have no authenticity in music. Ariana Grande is an incredible singer. I have seen a couple performances of her live and she absolutely crushed it. She is able to do like the whistle notes at times that I've seen. She's able to hit notes. She's able to have that gorgeous vibrato. Like Justin Bieber can sing. He can sing. I don't think he sings super well on some of his music now. I think I don't like his music anymore. I don't like his voice on his songs anymore. But I think at one point he had that kind of raw talent. I think he's been overtaken by like auto-tune and all of those effects. Selena Gomez, yeah, I don't think she's like the best singer in the world, but I don't think even she is trying to be the best singer in the world. I think she's just trying to make music and trying to make things that make her happy. And I think that's fine. I don't think you have to be the best at something or even great at something to do something. Midnights is one of the worst albums of the year and shouldn't have gotten a Grammy nomination. I disagree with this. I think it's a great album. I think it has such a cohesive sound and like atmosphere to it. I think it's fun. I think the production is really something I love. I think it absolutely deserves a Grammy nomination. I know I'm biased as a Taylor Swift fan, but I genuinely do love that album. Beyonce ain't that great. She stole from other people and their music and concepts. Fight me. I've heard the same rumor about 10 different artists. Olivia Rodrigo, Taylor Swift, probably. Like every artist under the sun that's popular seems to have people that say that they just stole all their ideas and concepts from someone else. First of all, I will say that it's nearly impossible not to accidentally do this similar thing to someone else at some point in time, because there are only so many melodies, there are only so many chord progressions, there are only so many ways you can represent yourself on stage, so many outfits. I feel like it's just inevitable with the amount of singers and performers we have for there to be overlap. And I don't think that means that one person was copying another. However, I will say that I don't know enough about the Beyonce situation to speak to that. But I will just say that I feel like there's a lot of rumors going around about different people, and like, I don't necessarily think they're all true.
There's a lot of things going around about me, but none of it's true.
I'm going to call it there. I'm going to say that's enough. Just kidding. Again, please don't attack anyone in the comments, whether it's me or another person who submitted an opinion. Keep in mind that like none of this is really that deep. These are all opinions about the music industry. The music industry is kind of messed up at times. And so I think it's right that we talk about these things, because I think there's such a tendency in our society to like put artists on this pedestal. I do it all the time without meaning to. And they can't live up to the high expectations we have for them when they're just another human being. Thank you so much for watching, for being here. Feel free to like and subscribe if that's something you're interested in. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.